Hey everyone, I had some requests to do my live on protein and moisture treatments in your hair and which one you really need and how to determine that on Instagram, because some of my Instagram friends don't have Facebook. So here we go. I'll just do it all over again. So today I talked about protein treatments and moisture treatments because they seem to be kind of the trend as far as treatments, and you need to know which one your hair needs in order to determine which one you get, buy, purchase, get done at the salon, etc. Because too much of one or the other can actually be super harmful. And there are so many hair products on the market these days that it can honestly just be overwhelming. And like I said, important to know which one is right for you. So, protein and moisture. Which do you need? Luckily, this is something you can probably determine on your own. Worst case scenario, ask your stylist because he or she should be able to tell you that. It's important to know that protein and moisture treatments are very, very, very different. Giving your hair too much of one or the other can actually end up hurting it. So don't assume that all hair masks and products or deep treatments are created equal. Instead, figure out what your hair is lacking and then choose that course of treatment. Let's talk about damaged hair because that is essentially what we're trying to fix. Damaged hair can be caused by a number of reasons. Anything from poor diet, poor hair care, improper or over brushing, heat styling tools, chemical processing, sun exposure, hair accessories. I mean, we damage our hair day in and day out. Even the people who don't take the time to style their hair, even the people that don't color their hair or chemically treat your hair, you're still damaging your hair. So, with the different types of damage and the different ways that hair can be damaged, there's generally two common damage conditions that hair falls in, and it can be temporarily helped if the right treatment is applied regularly. So the two common types of damage that hair falls in, it's either dry, brittle, rough damage, or it's weak, mushy, stretchy damage. And the common misconception is that protein helps all damaged hair, and that is absolutely incorrect. And I think people just generally assume that if your hair is damaged or it's weak, then we need to throw protein at it because, well, that's what we do with other things. We add protein to it and it becomes stronger. But that's not what happens with hair. So it's really important to determine what kind of damage your hair falls in. There are different damage conditions that require other applications, and using protein on the dry, brittle damage that I talked about actually makes it worse. It will cause it to be stiff, it will be rough, and it will actually break off faster. So you don't want to add protein to the dry, brittle, rough, damaged hair. Understanding what damage condition your hair is in can help you determine what kind of treatment to use on your hair. Now, your hair texture, thickness, porosity, all of that play a part too, but I wanted to keep this as simple as possible and give you the best advice I can on a level that everyone can understand, because sometimes the chemistry of it gets kind of confusing and overwhelming and I lose people. So we're going to break it down. Hair that is dry and brittle and rough needs softening. It needs hydration, it needs moisture. You need products that are going to be rich in like fatty acids and oils, aloe, different nut butters, things like that. Hair that is ultra fine or chemically damaged to the point where it feels like mushy cotton candy, that's the hair that needs protein. And it's really actually quite easy to determine which category your hair falls in, and you can do it at home. So an easy way is to take a strand of hair, and you can pull it out or you can actually do it attached to your head. It's kind of easier to do it in front of you, so I would just remove a hair from your head. And the best way to test the elasticity of the hair is when it's wet. So wet that strand of hair and hold it out. Now, hair that when it's wet stretches and returns back to its normal state is hair that is balanced in both protein and moisture, and that's healthy. You have to have the balance is key. Like I said, too much of one or the other is not good. So hair that stretches a little bit and then comes back to its normal state is healthy balance between moisture and protein. Hair that when it's wet and you stretch it and it stretches and stretches and stretches and it feels like cotton candy or like a mushy spaghetti. Okay, we're back. I don't know what happened there. But hair that stretches and stretches and stretches and feels like a limp spaghetti noodle, or it's mushy, that's the hair that needs protein. Hair that when it's wet and you go to stretch it and it just snaps and it breaks, that's hair that is dry and brittle and it needs moisture. So it's pretty simple. It either stretches and returns and that's normal and healthy, or it stretches and stretches and stretches and that's hair that is lacking protein, or it stretches and breaks or snaps, or it doesn't stretch at all, then that is hair that is dry and brittle and needs some moisture. So take a strand of your hair, give it a shot, pull it out of your head, get it wet, and see what the elasticity tells you. Now, if you don't want to do the strand test, or you really can't tell from the strand test, just go by feel. Hair that is stringy, limp, sticky feeling, especially when it's wet, is hair that needs. And okay, I don't know why I'm losing connection today. Instagram hates me. Hair that feels like tough or hard, that can be too much protein. So you definitely won't want to throw a protein mask on hair that feels tough or hard already, or it's simply going to snap off. Hair that is dry, tangled, weak feeling, that generally needs moisture. There's cotton flying around. So if your hair is dry and tangled, if your hair feels kind of brittle, do not throw protein on it. It likely needs moisture. At the same time, hair that is overly soft and still breaking, or it just like is limp and doesn't do anything, or won't style, that can be too much moisture. So there has to be a balance. You don't want to overdo protein, you don't want to overdo moisture. Keep it in balance. But I think that knowing that there are two different categories and knowing that you can overdo one or the other is quite helpful. So I have, of course, my favorites, and I have found, many different products over 12 years of doing hair that I love for each protein and moisture, but they are absolutely created differently and they're not equal, and you don't generally need one or the other. So make sure that you're looking at your products and what you're using, and make sure that you know what category your damage actually falls in, because you might be causing more harm than good. All right, thanks guys, have a good one.